It's day 7. All right, it's day 7, people, of the 7 days of Christmas. And what I should tell you today is the seventh thing I have gained by embarking on a 30-day marathon. And I'm proud to tell you, people, that I've lost all, is it all? I've lost a huge amount of shame. I've lost, when I say I've lost a lot of shame, I mean I've lost a whole lot of expectations. Okay, you see, when I started this, I was so self-conscious. I was so thinking of what everybody was going to think about this. I mean, it's one thing to show up dedicatingly every week, and I have not been able to do that. And now to show up every day for 30 days. The first thing I thought was like, we are going to get tired of seeing your faces. But do you know what? I got to a point where I stopped caring. I stopped caring, and this is the biggest win, and I have kept it for the last part. I have lost all sorts of expectation. I have lost, the expectation that people are going to particularly be supportive. I have stopped having all manner of, look, everything that comes from now on is a bonus. I am just doing what I need to do. Out of these days, I have videos, especially on YouTube. I have videos that have not been watched, not even by a soul. Oh yes, I check. But initially, I used to obsess about that. But now I go back and I check, and not even a tinge, right? And how I know I haven't lost it all is that when I go and I see 15 views, or when I go and I see 34 views, I'm somewhat happy, right? I'm a bit thankful for that. But aside that, I do no longer feel like I have to push it on my stories, on my post, and that is necessary, but I do not feel I need to do that just to get people to like or to watch. All of that has reduced. I am walking back from a place where I need to do what is necessary to get this video to reach the people that it's supposed to help, because there are people who it is supposed to help, and it is my duty to make it get into the hands of those people. But all sorts of expectation in terms of encouragement, in terms of likes. I think that is a place where I have had some gains, and it's not a small one, because I know that there is a lot to be done, and it's going to require some level of not caring. Is going to involve some level of not giving a hoot about what people think, about what people are saying. In fact, I think out of respect, a lot of the people who have nothing good to say, they have just been kind enough not to say anything. And I am not reading anything into that. I am not reading anything. Like, people have said, well done. And my response is thank you. Listen, guys. If you are going to perfect what it is God has been calling you to do, you have to get to a point where you have to start living for that audience of one. We say it, but when the chips are down, external accreditation is a thing. I think I have a video where I have told everybody who would care to listen that you do need external validation. At some point, you need people to see what you are doing. You need people to appreciate what you are doing. You need people to give God glory because of what you are doing. External accreditation is not to be messed around with. It's part of what keeps culture going. But you see, that dependence on external validation in order to have any validation at all, that's where the problem is. And so if there is something you need to do to get rid of to get rid of the dependence on external validation, you need to go do that thing. I watched one of those videos with my children, and there were the good side and there was the bad side. In the movie, there were angels and there were cartoons of the bad side. And I remember one part of the movie, a girl was asking the leader of the bad side, why do we have to look so ugly? Why do we have to dress so horribly? And the leader told her that the reason why you have to do that is so that you lose the need to look pretty for anybody. You want people to appreciate you only for what is inside of you and never for what is, or for what they see. Now that statement is not completely true, but I'm using that to say that if you have depended a lot on what people can appreciate, and if you have depended a lot on what people can tell you about how well you are doing, maybe you need a fast from that. Maybe you need to do something that lets your system, lets everybody around know that I'm not doing this for the claps, and so I'm going to go in a way to just to get it off my system that I can do very well. I do not have to live by these people's accreditation only. That was what Jesus was trying to do when he said, man shall not live by bread alone. He practically went without food for 40 days, as if to make a point that man does not have to live by bread alone. We know that man needs bread. We know that man needs to live by bread. But he went all the way to make a point that man should not live by bread alone. Right? There is something that you can live. And in the same manner, if you have found out that you are totally dependent on what people think, I think you need to do something that reads your mind. That's one of the things this has done for me. It has reading my mind of that need, because by the first day, the second day, a lot of people were still saying well done, sis. By the 10th day, people moved on. People moved on to what they were doing. Right? After a while, it looked as if nobody was seeing it again. But because this was not for anybody, when you get to a point and you say, I'm doing this for me, right? And you stop thinking, and because if you're doing it for you, you better be ready. You better be ready that people are not going to pay attention. People have a lot going on in their lives. People have enough on their plates already. And so they are going to move on. And so I can be comfortable now to do whatever else I want to do. And people, all of this was just for the beginning. All of this was just so that we can get started. All of this was just to set the mood, to set the environment internally and around me, that this is what we are doing regardless, in spite of. And I am not fully there, but I have made gains in that area. I am accountable to God. I'm accountable to mentors around me, but by God, I'm no longer looking to the left or to the right. I'm no longer looking to see who liked the video, who followed, who subscribed. I'm just waiting for the next instruction. And so to some large extent, I have been able to tell myself that if I get another leading, another direction, I am just going to go there. I'm going to go that way. It's no longer going to matter whether it appeals to you, really, because there is someone who is in charge. I think that was my video for day 5. Yeah, obedience and trust. There is someone who is in charge. And I am working at a level where I'm believing God for complete obedience and complete trust. I'm waiting to hear, and by God's grace, as I hear, I do. Let nothing that I have said in all of these 7 days give you the notion that I have attained anything close to perfection or anything near to being okay. No, these videos really are also for me to be able to come back and listen to them and see, okay, these are the heights that we have reached, and this is where we are going on from here. Basically, to a large extent, that's what this video is doing. Don't let it fool you. Don't get any ideas that are not real. Everything I have said, they are still, they're still a work in progress. They are still operations that are ongoing. But these are things I think I have paid attention to. These are things I think I have noticed, and I totally believe I am making gains. And if there is any way I want to make gains in this next quarter, in the next few years, it's in each and every of those areas I have talked about. If you have watched this video, if you have watched any of the videos that I have made, I appreciate you for coming by, but this is really a preamble. This is really a preamble for what we are launching into in the upcoming weeks. It's the 7 days out of the 7 days of Christmas. And people, I feel grateful that I am doing this. I feel grateful that I have done this. I feel grateful for these first few days. Thank you very much for watching. I don't want to ramble on further than this. Bye, my loves.